Hello, I'm Kerry Gorgone, and this is the best project portfolio management show by Appfire. Today, we'll answer the question, what are the 5 most expensive Agile mistakes? And here to help us is Adrian Pyne. He's been a project manager and professional for more than 30 years, has led change in 11 industries and in the public sector in the UK and abroad, and is the author of the book Agile Beyond IT, How to Develop Agility in Project Management in Any Sector. So stick around for 10 minutes of project management. Awesome.
Appfire Presents, the best project portfolio management show by Appfire.
Adrian, thanks for joining us. So what are the 5 most expensive Agile mistakes?
Okay, I think what we're going to do first of all is just list them and then see if I can go through and sort of cover them in the time
and then price them.
Well, I'm kind of going to, I don't know, it will vary from organization to organization just how expensive each one is. But the one that I find, the list is, first of all, that Scrum, which is a software development approach, often taken as being project management approach, and it's not. Secondly, that projects where agility is applied can only have an iterative life cycle, which again comes from their sort of software development origin, but it's just wrong. Then the third one is agile means leaving stuff out. Yes, we're agile. We don't have to plan or anything stupid like that. The fourth one and fifth are similar. The fourth one is that the C-suite, board level people, don't get agile. They might kind of understand it there, but they don't get it in the heart. And that relates to the fifth one, which is senior management, whether it's C-suite or below that level, are just insufficiently engaged to make agility happen. And that's quite common in projects anyway, but it's particularly dangerous for agility, as I hope I'll get to explain.
So those are the 5 overall. So I guess let's dive in. You started with Scrum.
Absolutely. Let's take. So if you look at most writings out there on the web, and it says what's agile project management, the thing that recurs most often is you can use Scrum, which is a software development method using sort of iterative development to manage projects. In the book, I very simply show a couple of diagrams to show the scope of what Scrum does, and then I put the rest. I've got another diagram that then puts the rest of what happens inside a project around it, and the scope of Scrum is a tiny part of the totality of what you do in a project. So it's just madness to try and use Scrum. I mean, you can bend Scrum completely out of shape and add loads of stuff to Scrum to make it do what project management does. But what you end up with is project management. So why not just use project management in the first place? So that's number one. Second one is agile projects must be iterative. And again, this is a mistake that's come out of the fact that agility really has come out of the software development environment. And most agile software development approaches like Scrum tend to work on iterative life cycles. You do short-term developments, a few weeks long, and you're regularly delivering software products in that way. So it seemed quite natural to say, it's fine. When you get adopt agility into the project management space, you start with an iterative life cycle. But that's just madness, because that means that only projects with an iterative life cycle can have agility applied to them. And I'm afraid projects are about a hell of a lot more than just a life cycle. So there's loads of more stuff going on inside a project than just a life cycle. You've got risk, you've got planning, you've got stakeholder management, business case development, loads of stuff.
And you would know, having been in all these different industries and all these different countries and everything else. So
yeah, I mean, I've run projects and programs and portfolios with agility, and I've seen every kind of life cycle used combination. So I've seen a program program where one project has got an iterative life cycle, another one's got waterfall life cycle, and sometimes there are hybrids and all sorts. Its life cycle is just life cycle. Agility in projects means the whole of project management, not just the life cycle. So it seems crazy to just limit agility in projects just to those that happen to have an iterative life cycle.
So those are two.
Those are two. Yeah. Third one is agile means leaving stuff out. Now, a lot of very senior managers love agility because some not very bright person has told them that with agility, the phrase "just enough" is very common in the agile world, and that's often taken to mean, hey, let's leave stuff out. And I'm going to nick a story from Professor Stephen Carver from Cranfield, just very, very briefly, where he was asked to go and work with a game software company. He says, we're having problems using agility. Now, this was actually about agile software development, but the story is still valid. And so he went to see them, and they said, right, now describe your agile software development approach. And they said, what do you mean approach? We're agile. We don't have an approach. We don't have these disciplines. We're snappy. We're agile. And he kind of said, brew the coffee, sit down, make yourselves comfortable. This is going to take a while. So it's not. You still have to do all the stuff you do, but that lovely little clever phrase, do just enough, means you don't do more than you need to. And in point of fact, throughout my career, when I look at great project professionals are agile to their very boots, whether they know it or not, because no manager does more management than they need to, pure and simple. But you still have to do all the stuff that project managers do. So that's the third one.
That's three.
That's three. The fourth and fifth are related. So the first of all, the C-suite, sort of board level people, don't get agile. Now, it is a fact, and I've chatted with many people at clients at C-level, and this is not just an issue around agility, it's an issue around project management. Most of the C-suite level come from an operational business as usual background, whether they're finance people, they could be legal, marketing, engineering, or whatever, but they're used to keeping the show on the road as opposed to change, which is basically what projects are for. So if you don't have that background, that culture, the behaviors and the understanding, both head and heart, then you're not going to get agility when it comes to projects. And that means that you'll misunderstand, and therefore you might easily like the idea that agile means leaving stuff out, and which is a big expensive mistake. So that's the next one. You've got to make sure that the C-suite take the trouble to go out and understand agility, and that whoever's helping them on that journey make sure that they do properly understand what agility looks like in whatever sphere, whether it's project management, software development, engineering, or any other adaptation of agility. And then the final one, which is related to that, is senior management are insufficiently engaged. Now, this is not purely down to projects. It's very often you'll get a project sponsor who, again, has they're a senior operational manager, and they just may not have the time, pure and simple. They're 110% busy on their day job, and then someone says, you're responsible for this massive change project. So how are they supposed to have the time? That's bad enough in the ordinary project world. With agility, leadership and engagement is absolutely critical. It's a part of the culture of agility. So there we go.
How much is too much, though? So yes, you don't want anybody bottlenecking your projects, right? If you need sign off at a certain point, you need it. But how much involvement is too much for the leadership team to have?
How much is too much is stepping outside of their role. And of course, you do get very senior people who are control freaks, and in fact, you get project managers.
What?
Yeah, absolutely. I used to be a control freak, and wow, it may surprise
Wow,
you.
true confessions with Adrian Pyne.
I hold my hand up and say, yeah, I used to be a control freak. But now
You take something for that, or?
I just kind of learned to relax a little bit more, when the blood pressure started going up, and you have to. I mean, again, it's a part of the culture of agility that you kind of have to trust people. You have to make sure that you can form a great professional team, that you give them very clear instruction about what they've got to do, what they've got to deliver, and give them the shape and the policy of how they're going to do that. And then you trust them. If you've got the right people and they know what they're doing, go away and do it. Doesn't mean to say you sort of leave them to sort of wobble off into the distance without any kind of assurance, but it means you keep just enough in touch with them to be able to intervene if you either need to or are asked to. So,
Adrian, you made me laugh so hard I cried. Thank you for joining us on the best project portfolio management show by Appfire. If you would like more episodes, you can find them at hub.appfire.com. And in the meantime, go and pick up Adrian's book. It's a good one.